Hello! At this point, we're all pretty sure that the main village in the Pokemon Legends Arceus trailer is Eterna City. But did you know that we can actually identify the other locations in the trailer as well? Today I'm gonna go through the trailer and show exactly where each location is using modern Sinnoh as a reference. I'll be focusing on outdoor locations only, which I mean is most of the trailer. To figure this out, I'm gonna be looking at the geographical landscape as well as which Pokemon are found on each route in modern Sinnoh. I'm then gonna put the clips of the trailer in order so it's like we're actually traveling through the Sinnoh region. At the end, I'm gonna reveal something very interesting that I learned from doing this. Okay, so the first image we see of the region is of Mount Coronet. I feel like this is self-explanatory. I mean, it's the tallest mountain in Sinnoh. But specifically, this is Mount Coronet from the Eterna City side because if you pause at just the right moment, there's a little river running just below the mountain. This is the river from the west side of Route 211. It isn't as sunk into the ground as in the future, but this makes sense because of how erosion works, especially around mountains. Science! Next we see what looks like Route 205. The geography fits perfectly, and there's even a bridge exactly where one would be in the future. But Kayla, the wood from that bridge would have rotted by the time of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Yeah, I know. But most of the time, people build pathways on the roads of the past. Okay, that sounds like I'm trying to be metaphorical, but I mean it literally. I grew up in Connecticut, and most of our roads used to be Native American trails, or were at least used by colonists. So it's very likely that the bridge we see in modern Route 205 was built to replace this one. Then there's this scene with Piplup near what looks like the coast. While Piplup isn't found in the wild in modern Sinnoh, we see earlier in a drawing that Spheal is found in the same area as Piplup. Spheal is only found in Pearl on routes 226 and 230. Interesting thing to note about this is that both of these routes are in the battle zone, an island separate from the mainland of Sinnoh. This suggests that in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we might be able to travel across the water with some kind of boat. The island I'm talking about is covered with clouds on the map from the notebook, so who knows? However, there is some evidence against that. During the trailer, at the exact moment when it mentions Spheal and Piplup, it mentions Pokemon roaming. They might have included this so we don't get our hopes up about traveling to the battle zone, which would probably just be an unnamed island at this point. Next is a meadow with flowers and a whole bunch of Bidoof. Just like with Spheal, we can use Bidoof's locations in the Gen 4 games to predict where this might be. And wouldn't you know it, Bidoof is found on Route 204, which is right next to Florahama Town, an area covered in flowers. Or, well, the area that becomes Florahama Town. This also makes sense considering this route is not too far from Eterna City. Speaking of Eterna City, the main village is totally Eterna City. I talked about this in my trailer breakdown, but real quick, Eterna City is one of the oldest in Sinnoh, and it's the only one that's layout matches with the city from the trailer. Then it shows more of Route 205. We know this because the rocks right here match the rocks shown in the earlier scene. Here we see the player catch a Shinx. This is most likely Route 204, where Shinx can be found in modern Sinnoh. So far, the trailer has mostly shown us from Eterna City to Jubilife, but this next part with Rhyhorn doesn't exactly match up with that. We don't get much information in this first shot, but in this next one, we can see Mount Coronet in the distance. The only place in modern Sinnoh where we could both catch Rhyhorn and see Mount Coronet is Route 214. The distance seems about right, but the landscape doesn't entirely match up, so I'm not 100% sure about this one. At first, it seems weird that they would show this route since it's not really near the other routes shown in the trailer, but it'll connect up later. After that, we see Chingling with Bronzor in the background. By comparing where they're located in modern Sinnoh, we can deduce that this is Route 211. Because we can't see the river from this angle, it's difficult to tell if we're on the east or west side of this route. But based on what we've seen in the trailer, I'm guessing we're on the west side since most of what we've seen is close to Eterna City. The scene with Bidoof is on Route 204, the same area as the other scene with Bidoof. Now, this part confuses me. Garchomp isn't typically found in the wild. There's also this weird orange stuff. I think these are actually the puddles from Route 212. They look more like puddles in a later shot. Starly, on the other hand, is found on a whole bunch of routes, but I'm pretty sure this is Route 203. It looks more heavily wooded than the other routes we've seen, and this would fit with our current travel itinerary. Chimchar is another one that's difficult because he's not found in the wild. We see a path lit with torches that seems to be winding its way through stone. I don't know, maybe this is near what would become Oreburgh City? There are a lot of stones there, and Oreburgh does become a mine. That also fits with the direction we're theoretically traveling in so far. Staraptor is also not found in the wild. We can't even see Mount Coronet or any specific landmarks, so I'm really unsure about this one. Let me know in the comments if you have a guess for where this is. This next part has quite a few clues. We see Mount out Coronet in the distance and Badoo nearby. At first I thought this is probably another shot of Route 204, but looking at what the trailer shows after this, I'm thinking this might be Route 212. I say this because in the next shot we see Pikachu in what is most definitely Route 212. This is because in the original Sinnoh games, Pikachu was only located behind the Pokemon Mansion, which was on this route. Also, we see a sort of land bridge. This is the only route where a feature like that would really make sense. And here we see Turtwig in the same location that Garchomp was in earlier. Like with Garchomp, Turtwig didn't used to be found in the wild. But based on where the trailer is leading, I think it's very likely that this is Route 212 with the weird orange splotches being puddles. That's pretty much it from the main trailer, other than another view of Eterna City. There's a little bit more footage at the end of the Pokemon Presents though. Here it confirms that the orange splotches are the puddles from Route 212. Bidoof isn't usually caught on this route, but Barrel is. Since we're almost definitely accessing the routes in a different order from the original games, it makes sense that they would make this change. We also get another shot of Route 211 with Chingling and Bidoof. Bidoof can be caught on this route as well, so that works with my theory. Interestingly, we get a shot of one of the lakes. There's a tiny island in the middle of it, so we know it's one of the main three, but I don't know if it's Verity or Valor. I think it's probably Valor because of the circular path we're taking, but it could totally be Verity instead. We see ruins, which could hint that this is near the Salacion ruins. It's weird seeing ruins in a game set in the past. Wherever this is must be really old. And Salacion is the only place I can think of that really fits that, since it's probably from like the beginning of creation or something. So putting this all together, here are the routes in order if you're traveling west from Eterna City in a big counterclockwise circle. Well, that was interesting. There are a few things I learned from doing this that I think are really important. First, this game might not be as big as people hope. If I'm right, which I kind of hope I'm not, to be honest, we've seen quite a lot of the Sinnoh region in the trailer. Second, while we'll be able to go off the main path, it does seem like there'll be a linear structure to where we're heading. We should probably think about it more like the wild area where there's sort of a path, but sort of not. Third, and this is the encouraging part, we might be able to go to the island that becomes the battle zone. I'm not 100% sure of this yet, but there are a decent number of hints alluding to this, so it might actually be a thing. Let me know if you noticed anything I missed or are able to identify the other areas. And also, let me know if this video helps you think of any new theories. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @KaylaCapsule for sneak peeks of upcoming videos. Bye!